High above the earth, where the clouds kiss the peaks, there lies Olympus, home of the immortal gods. The wind whispers gently through marble halls, carrying songs of time, memory, and eternal presence. Here sits Zeus, Lord of the heavens, his throne woven with storms yet shining with calm authority. His eyes stretch across the skies, watching both the silent stars and the restless world of mortals. On Olympus, he is never alone, for the Watchers stand beside him in eternal duty and quiet grace. They are guardians of wisdom, music, love, and the breath of nature that binds all life together. Each Watcher sees a different thread of existence, weaving balance where chaos longs to enter. Mortals raise prayers like sparks of light, and the Watchers carry them to Zeus with gentle care. Above thunder and clouds, no war is waged, only harmony is guarded, and order gently restored. The story begins here, in the hush before dawn, when Olympus awakens to watch over all below. The sky stretches wide, endless, and shimmering, a canvas painted in hues of gold, silver, and deep azure. From horizon to horizon, the heavens breathe, and every star is a silent echo of forgotten songs of time. Here, at the highest crest of Olympus, Zeus reigns, not with iron or fear, but with balance and vision. His throne rises from the mist, carved from stone and cloud, crowned by the shimmer of eternal light. The eagle circles above him, wings vast and steady, carrying the promise of watchfulness and guidance. Beneath the eagle's path, lightning sleeps, not as fury but as a symbol of truth revealed in sudden clarity. Zeus sits with a calm gaze, his presence both storm and shelter, sky's might and father's embrace united. Mortals know him as the bringer of rain, the breaker of drought, and the voice that rolls through thunder. Yet here, beyond mortal sight, he is more than thunder. He is keeper of harmony, ruler of the eternal sky. Each breath he takes moves the clouds, shifting shadows, weaving light into patterns across the world. From his seat, Zeus does not only look down, he listens, a silent ear to the whispers carried by the winds. Prayers of farmers for harvest, sailors for calm seas, and children for peace rise like sparks of hope. These voices weave together into a song, not of sorrow, but of longing, reminding Olympus of its duty. Zeus listens, not alone, but surrounded by the faithful Watchers, keepers of the balance between realms. They stand beside him, silent yet radiant, each a beacon of purpose, their eyes turned both ways. One gazes to the mortal fields, where lives bloom and fade. Another to the stars, mapping eternity. Together, they form a circle of light, a living constellation set upon Olympus itself. But Zeus is the center, the sun around which these stars revolve, guiding their watch with quiet strength. When the winds grow restless and the earth trembles, his presence restores calm with an unseen hand. His thunderbolt, though known to all, rests idle, for his true power is not in striking, but in steadying. The throne room of Zeus is not stone alone. It is sky itself, open to breeze and song of distant seas. Columns rise like tree trunks of marble, wrapped in vines of mist, kissed by sunlight and moonlight alike. Every step echoes like a hymn, for Olympus itself sings in harmony with its king's silent will. Here, Zeus gathers strength not from conquest, but from the balance of stillness and motion, sky and earth. He knows that power without wisdom is emptiness, and wisdom without compassion is cold and brittle. Thus, he holds the two in equal measure, a scale balanced by storms on one side and clear skies on the other. His heart is vast, touched by both eternity and the fleeting prayers of mortals who look skyward. To the shepherd watching the stars, to the traveler lost in night, Zeus is the comfort of returning dawn. To the mother who prays for rain, to the sailor who fears the waves, he is the unseen hand of mercy. And to the Watchers who serve beside him, he is the axis upon which heaven itself turns. So begins the tale of the eternal sky, of Zeus who rules not by command alone, but by listening deeply. He is not the distant thunder feared by all, but the guiding presence felt in every breath of wind. In his gaze lies the promise of order, not rigid, but flowing like rivers that bend yet never break. And in his silence, the watchers find their calling, to guard what is precious and guide what is fragile. For in the realm above clouds, there is no end, only the timeless watch of sky, star, and king. This is the first watch of Olympus, where Zeus sits eternal, Lord of the heavens, keeper of harmony. They are called the Watchers of Olympus, beings neither gods nor mortals, yet bound to both realms in harmony. Their forms shimmer with light, not flesh or stone, but woven from memory, duty, and the breath of eternity. Each watcher was chosen by Zeus himself, not for strength of hand, but for the purity of their inner flame. They stand beside his throne, silent and radiant, guarding the balance of heavens and the world below. The watchers do not wield weapons. Their strength is vision. Their gift is perception across all veils of time. Some say they were born from the first sparks of lightning, others from the calm silence after the storm. Each carries an essence that connects heaven and earth, a reminder that Olympus watches with open eyes. The first among them is the Watcher of Wisdom, cloaked in silver glow, eyes deep as the midnight sea. This watcher sees the choices of mortals and gods, reading the currents that flow from every decision. It whispers to Zeus, not commands, but questions, guiding him to weigh paths before storms ever rise. Beside it stands the Watcher of Justice, robed in gold, holding scales that never tip without reason. Its gaze pierces pride. Its silence unmasks deceit, yet its heart leans toward mercy as much as law. Mortals sense its presence in fair judgment, in truth revealed, in balance restored when all seemed lost. Then comes the Watcher of Music, radiant with colors that shift like dawn, carrying songs unending. Its voice is not heard, but felt, a harmony woven into winds, rivers, and laughter of mortal children. This watcher teaches that beauty sustains the world as surely as rain sustains the field of grain. Close by drifts the Watcher of Love, glowing warm and gentle, with hands open like the rising Sunday. It sees the ties between hearts, fragile yet enduring, weaving them into bonds that resist despair. Where hatred seeks to divide, this watcher breathes compassion, planting hope like flowers in stone. And last among the circle is the Watcher of Nature, cloaked in green and gold, crowned with living vine. It feels the pulse of rivers, the roots of trees, and the wind that dances through the mountain peaks. Its presence reminds Zeus that even gods must honor the rhythms that shape the mortal earth. Together they form the circle of watchers, each holding a light, each voice a thread of a greater song. They do not seek worship. Mortals do not know their names, yet their work is felt in every gentle turn. A fair harvest after drought, a sudden melody in dreams, a peace restored after conflict. These are their gifts. The watchers never sleep, for their eyes are woven into dawn and dusk, into tide and starlight. They share no throne, no crown, no pride, only a bond of endless service beside Zeus, their center. Through them, Olympus breathes with balance, not as a fortress above, but as a guiding presence below. Mortals sense the watchers in quiet moments, when choices feel clear, when hope seems near at hand. They may not see the silver glow, the golden scales, or the vine-crowned presence, yet they feel it, for the watchers are not meant to be seen, but to remind all that harmony is always within reach. So stands the Circle of Olympus, luminous and patient, a constellation that never fades from the sky. And Zeus, their king, listens to their voices, for wisdom is never solitary, but shared in sacred trust. This is the secret of the Watchers, guardians of harmony, unseen yet eternal, forever watching the world. The voices of mortals rise like sparks, carried on the wind, drifting upward to the silent halls of Olympus. Each whisper is fragile, yet together they form a chorus, a living tide of longing that reaches the heavens. Farmers bend their knees in fields of grain, praying for rain, for sun, for the gift of steady seasons. Sailors lift their eyes above stormy waves, pleading for calm seas, for stars to guide them home at night. Mothers whisper by the cradle, asking for health, safety, and peace for children they cradle in weary arms. These prayers rise like threads of smoke, invisible yet enduring, weaving a tapestry of mortal hope. The watchers hear them first, leaning close, their eyes glowing as they carry each word to their king. They do not judge the words as grand or small. Every plea is precious, every voice a flame of life. Some prayers are bold, asking for strength, courage, or wisdom, while others are soft as a lullaby. Zeus listens through them all, not as a ruler distant and cold, but as a father of sky and storm. He hears the laughter woven into requests, the sorrow hidden beneath silence, the truth beyond words. When mortals cry for justice, the Watcher of Justice stirs, placing the prayer upon its golden scales. When mortals ask for harmony, the Watcher of Music hums softly, weaving melody into their longing. When mortals yearn for love, the Watcher of Love glows warmer, carrying compassion to the heavens. The Watcher of Nature listens deeply to those who pray for harvest, for rivers, for fertile earth, and always, the Watcher of Wisdom guides the circle, ensuring that no prayer is ignored or forgotten. Zeus does not answer each prayer with lightning or storm. His answers arrive in subtler, gentler ways. A field may bloom after rain. A lost sailor may find the guiding star. A child may wake healed at dawn. These are not miracles of spectacle, but quiet affirmations that Olympus listens, that Olympus cares. Sometimes the answer is not what mortals expect, yet always it is woven with balance and hidden wisdom. For Zeus knows that not all storms are enemies. Some bring renewal. Some shape strength within hearts. The Watchers carry this truth gently, ensuring mortals learn patience, courage, and trust in their path. In villages, people share tales of unseen hands guiding them, of warmth and despair, of hope unbroken. They do not know the Watchers' names, but they feel their presence in dreams, in whispers of wind. Children who laugh under starlight feel the Watcher of Music. Lovers in embrace feel the Watcher of Love. Judges weighing truth, unknowingly, echo the Watcher of Justice. And farmers feel nature's steady gaze. Thus, the prayers of mortals become bridges, connecting earth to Olympus, heart to the eternal sky. Zeus treasures these bridges, for they remind even gods that power is nothing without listening. He sits upon his throne, the eagle circling above, while the Watchers lay mortal prayers at his feet. Each spark of human voice becomes part of the greater harmony, a song of earth sung to the heavens. This endless dialogue binds mortals and gods, not through fear, but through trust and sacred respect. And so, the whispers of mortals rise each day, weaving an eternal chorus that Olympus will never forget. For as long as stars shine above and winds carry voices below, the Watchers will hear and Zeus will listen. The Watchers gather in silence, their circle bright, as dawn spills gold across the cloud-wrapped throne of Zeus. Here begins the Council of Olympus, where voices meet not in argument, but in harmony of purpose and care. Each Watcher carries the weight of prayers, gathered from mortals, each one a spark placed upon the circle. The air hums with quiet energy, like the calm before rain, as wisdom prepares to speak its guiding light. The Watcher of Wisdom rises first, silver glow rippling like starlight, words flowing clear and steady. It speaks of choices mortals now face, of crossroads unseen, of lessons that must be learned with patience. Zeus listens, head bowed slightly, for wisdom is not a command, but a lantern that lights uncertain paths. Then the Watcher of Justice steps forward, golden scales shining, voice calm yet firm with timeless balance. It tells of disputes below, where pride stirs, quarrels, and reminds the circle that fairness restores harmony. Justice does not demand punishment, but balance, where truth and mercy share equal space in judgment. The Watcher of Music follows, radiant with colors of dawn, its voice a melody felt rather than heard. It speaks of harmony woven through mortal hearts, how a single song can soften sorrow and lift despair. Music calls for patience, for reminding Olympus that beauty sustains as much as law or wisdom. The Watcher of Love glows warmly, stepping close, its presence soft as sunlight through a gentle dawn. It speaks of hearts that yearn for connection, of compassion that mends wounds deeper than flesh or stone. Love asks that Olympus remember kindness, for even the smallest gesture can change the course of a life. Then the Watcher of Nature rises, crowned with vine, voice steady as the river and strong as the mountain. It speaks of the earth trembling, of forests calling, of seas rising with tides that mirror mortal actions. Nature urges respect, reminding the circle that the world is not only given but shared with care. Together, the Watchers weave their counsel, each voice like a thread, forming a tapestry of balance. No one voice drowns another, for their strength is not in competition, but in harmony of purpose. Zeus listens to each, not rushing, his presence like a steady flame, unshaken by time or pride. When the circle finishes, silence falls, vast and sacred, filled with the weight of their joined wisdom. Zeus then speaks, his voice like distant thunder, yet gentle as rain falling on thirsty soil. He does not command, but gathers their counsel, blending it into one vision, one path for Olympus. His words affirm what each has spoken, that justice must walk with compassion, wisdom with patience. That music must remind hearts of hope, and nature must remain a guide as eternal as the stars. The Watchers bow their heads, their lights glowing brighter, for their voices have found unity in him. The council ends not with decree, but with harmony, a shared trust that guides both gods and mortals. As they part, their radiance lingers, flowing like rivers of light through the halls of Olympus. Each Watcher returns to their vigil, carrying both mortal prayers and divine counsel in equal measure. The sky above stirs gently, clouds shifting in patterns like woven cloth, carrying the circle's harmony. Mortals far below feel the change, though they cannot name it. Peace settles softly into their lives, for the counsel of the Watchers is unseen, yet its wisdom touches every breeze, every dawn, every star. Thus the circle continues, eternal and unbroken, a council that listens, guides, and restores without end. One night, the sky stretched darker than before, a canvas vast and waiting, silent above the world below. The stars shimmered faintly, yet among them a new pattern began to glow with strange and gentle light. The Watchers gathered upon Olympus, their eyes lifted upward, sensing a message woven into the heavens. It was not thunder that spoke, nor the voice of the sea, but a constellation bright with living fire. The Watcher of Wisdom leaned forward, silver glow reflecting in starlight, whispering of meaning yet to come. This is no accident, it said, but a reminder, a calling to listen beyond what is seen and heard. The Watcher of Justice raised its golden scales, watching the stars balance in perfect and delicate order. Fairness dwells here, it spoke. The heavens remind us that harmony is born of careful equilibrium. The Watcher of Music hummed softly, its radiance shifting with colors, as though catching hidden melodies. This constellation sings, it said, its song carries hope, urging mortals and gods to move in rhythm. The Watcher of Love glowed warmer, hands open, seeing threads of compassion within the starlit design. These lights speak of connection, it said. For no star shines alone. Each depends on the glow of others. The Watcher of Nature bowed its crown of vine, sensing the tide shifting and the forests leaning to listen. The world itself breathes with these stars, it said, reminding us to honor the cycles that guide all life. Zeus sat silent as thunder's shadow, his eyes fixed on the glowing sign, his mind deep in contemplation. He did not see only stars, but currents of destiny, weaving paths that stretched beyond mortal sight. The constellation pulsed, its lights brightening, forming shapes of balance, circles, and endless flowing rivers. It seemed to speak without voice, carrying truth older than Olympus, a reminder written in the cosmos. The eagle above Zeus circled slowly, wings catching moonlight, as if recognizing the sign from ancient days. Zeus finally spoke, his voice calm and steady, echoing across the halls of Olympus like distant rain. The stars remind us that even gods must listen, he said, for the sky itself teaches us humility. The watchers bowed their heads, each one humbled, for even their wisdom felt small before eternal stars. Mortals, too, gazed upward that night, seeing the rare constellation, though they knew not its divine meaning. Children pointed to the sky in wonder. Sailors felt courage, and lovers whispered vows beneath the glow. The watchers felt each heartbeat on earth answer the stars, a chorus unspoken yet powerful and true, for the heavens had sent not a warning of storm, but a reminder of balance, unity, and gentle order. The constellation burned through the night, fading only when dawn brushed gold across the waking earth. Still, its memory lingered, etched not only in sky but in the hearts of gods, watchers and mortals alike. Zeus closed his eyes, hearing not thunder but silence, the kind that carries truth deeper than words. He knew that signs are not commands, but invitations, urging all to look inward as well as outward. The watchers returned to their vigil, carrying the starlit lesson that harmony is eternal if one listens. And so, the stars continued to shine, silent teachers of wisdom, guardians of balance, keepers of time. For in the endless sky, every constellation is a story, and this one spoke directly to Olympus itself. The winds shifted across Olympus, carrying whispers that seemed to come not from earth, but from time itself. The watchers stirred, their lights flickering gently, for the air bore memories far older than even the gods. It was the Watcher of Wisdom who sensed it first, its silver glow trembling with echoes of forgotten knowledge. There are truths buried deep, it whispered. Seeds planted before Olympus rose, waiting now to be remembered. The Watcher of Justice leaned forward, golden scales tilting, sensing balance shifting between past and present. Ancient deeds remain, it said, their weight not erased by time, but still resting upon our eternal shoulders. The Watcher of Music closed its eyes, hearing faint melodies drifting upward, songs older than mortal tongues. Do you hear them? It asked. Voices of the first singers carrying stories through silence and shadow. The Watcher of Love lifted its hands, palms glowing warmly, feeling threads of compassion woven in ancient times. Even in beginnings, hearts long to connect, it said, and that longing still shapes the world we guard. The Watcher of Nature bowed deeply, vines curling, for the earth itself groaned with memories of its first dawn. Roots remember, it said. Rivers hold echoes. Mountains keep secrets of creation, all waiting to be heard. Zeus listened with solemn calm, his eyes tracing the horizon as if searching for origins hidden beyond sight. He knew that before Olympus, before gods, the world had been guided by forces nameless yet eternal. The watchers closed their circle, their radiance merging, opening themselves to echoes that drifted from the deep past. Visions appeared, the first spark of fire, the first drop of rain, the first heartbeat within mortal clay. The memories were not stories of triumph or conquest, but of beginnings, quiet and profound, sacred in their simplicity. They saw mortals lifting their eyes in wonder, not in fear, but in awe of a sky vast and unending. They felt the first prayers rise, not as demands, but as whispers of gratitude, soft as wind in the grass. The watchers trembled, for these echoes reminded them that even gods were once students of the universe. Zeus lowered his gaze, speaking softly, his voice steady, each word carrying weight like stone upon stone. We are not rulers alone, he said. We are keepers, entrusted with what began before our names were spoken. The watchers bowed their heads, humbled by the truth that their power was not ownership, but stewardship of life. The Watcher of Wisdom spoke again, its silver glow stronger, echoing the lesson that resounded across eternity. Let us not forget beginnings, it said. For only in remembering can we guide with patience and humility. The Watcher of Justice nodded, scales gleaming, reminding that fairness includes honoring the past as much as the present. The Watcher of Music sang softly, carrying the echoes into harmony, weaving them into the circle's living song. The Watcher of Love let its warmth spread, cradling the memories gently as though they were fragile treasures. The Watcher of Nature pressed its hand to the ground, vowing to protect the cycles that still hold ancient breath. Together they sealed the vision, carrying the lesson into their hearts, a promise to never let it fade. Mortals far below felt a stillness that night, though they could not name it. Their dreams carried ancient calm. Children dreamed of rivers unbroken, elders dreamed of first fires, and all awoke with peace in their chests. For the past had whispered not of sorrow, but of remembrance, and Olympus had listened with reverent silence. Zeus stood, his form radiant against dawn, knowing that even eternity bends to honor the roots of creation. The Watchers took their places again, guardians not just of today, but of every yesterday that shaped it. And so, the past remained alive, not distant, but present, guiding Olympus with whispers older than stars. The dawn rose bright, yet on Olympus a hush lingered, carrying questions that stretched beyond stars and time. The Watchers stood watchful, their light steady, but even they sensed change weaving through the fabric of the sky. The Watcher of Wisdom spoke first, its silver glow trembling slightly, as if bearing truths that pressed heavy. Change comes not as storm, but as tide, it said, gentle yet unyielding, shaping what resists and what yields. The Watcher of Justice tilted its scales, measuring unseen weight, eyes narrowing as balance shifted unseen. Something stirs, it said, not to break harmony, but to test whether our balance holds or falters. The Watcher of Music listened closely, head bowed, hearing faint notes carried by winds drifting from mortal lands. There is a new song, it whispered, a rhythm not yet in tune, yet filled with promise and uncertainty. The Watcher of Love lifted its radiant hands, warmth spreading softly, sensing hearts rising with new desires. Mortals seek more, it said. Not only safety or hope, but meaning, connection that binds beyond survival. The Watcher of Nature pressed its palm to the ground, vines curling, feeling tremors pulsing from deep within earth. The seasons shift, it said, not by chance, but by choice of those who walk upon the soil. Zeus listened, his eyes steady as thunderclouds, not yet speaking, allowing the circle to share their insight. He knew the Watcher's task was not to answer everything, but to reveal what might be seen and heard. The air shimmered, and suddenly visions flickered across the sky, glimpses of mortal lives unfolding below. Farmers bent low, planting seeds with trembling hope, uncertain if rain would bless or abandon their fields. Children laughed by rivers, their joy bright as morning, yet questions of tomorrow stirred in their young hearts. Sailors set out upon restless seas, chasing horizons, their courage as fragile as the wind in their sails. Lovers clung beneath starlight, whispering vows, knowing time itself might test what they promised one another. The Watchers gazed deeply, each vision stirring their essence, reminding them that mortal lives are fragile and vast. Wisdom saw questions unspoken. Justice saw disputes unresolved. Music saw songs half-written. Love saw wounds unhealed. Nature saw forests bending, oceans restless, mountains silent, all reflecting choices of mortals in their care. Zeus finally rose, his form bright against dawn, his voice rolling softly, firm yet compassionate, like rain on stone. The world stirs, he said, not against us, but before us. Mortals test paths, as we once did in time. The Watchers bowed their heads, hearing not judgment but guidance, words that honored both gods and mortals alike. For change is not threat, Zeus continued, but teacher. It asks us to walk beside, not ahead of them. The Watchers lifted their lights, stronger now, ready to guide with patience rather than command from above. The Watcher of Wisdom promised to share understanding, so mortals may learn without fear of their questions. The Watcher of Justice vowed fairness, ensuring disputes lead not to despair, but to lessons in harmony. The Watcher of Music sang softly, vowing to inspire joy and courage, weaving rhythm into mortal hearts. The Watcher of Love glowed brighter, vowing to heal loneliness, reminding every soul that no one stands alone. The Watcher of Nature pledged balance, guiding mortals to honor Earth, so life may flourish without ruin. Zeus nodded, his gaze steady, his heart calm, for he knew change is not enemy, but eternal companion. Mortals below felt a strange calm that morning, though they knew not why, as if the air itself listened. Dreams softened into clarity, fears eased into patience, and even sorrow carried a note of quiet hope. The Watchers returned to their vigil, their vows alive, their light steady, guiding both gods and mortals forward. And so, the dawn became not just a morning, but a promise that Olympus listens and will always walk beside. The night deepened over Olympus, stars glittering like eternal watchfires above the quiet halls of the gods. The Watchers stood in silence, their radiance steady, for a new stirring touched the fabric of the heavens. The Watcher of Wisdom raised its gaze first, silver light brightening, sensing threads of knowledge waiting to be drawn. There is learning ahead, it said softly. Truths not yet revealed, awaiting those who dare to listen deeply. The Watcher of Justice tilted its golden scales, measuring unseen forces, balance shifting with each breath of the world. Fairness requires courage, it said, for choices loom that will test mortals in ways both subtle and profound. The Watcher of Music hummed low, its tones drifting upward, weaving into starlight, carrying melodies across silence. There is a song unborn, it whispered, a harmony fragile yet full of promise, waiting to be sung together. The Watcher of Love spread warmth outward, hands glowing, feeling countless hearts beating below with yearning. They search for connection, it said, for love that does not falter, for bonds that withstand the weight of time. The Watcher of Nature pressed its palm against the mountain stone, sensing rivers surge and forests sway in response. The earth awakens, it said. Its cycles speak louder now, asking for care, urging balance with tender strength. Zeus stood quietly, eyes lifted to constellations, listening not with power, but with patience deeper than storms. He knew the Watcher's words were not warnings, but invitations, urging Olympus to walk humbly beside mortals. Visions rose across the sky like drifting clouds, showing stories of mortals bound by courage and quiet faith. A healer knelt beside the sick, whispering comfort, her hands steady though her heart carried unspoken fear. A craftsman worked late by lamplight, shaping wood into form, pouring love into the labor of his hands. A child comforted another, small hand resting gently, teaching kindness without knowing it was a divine lesson. The Watchers beheld each scene, their essence trembling, for the strength of mortals lay in their gentle persistence. Wisdom saw patience in their learning. Justice saw fairness in their choices. Music heard songs in their silence. Love felt compassion in their touch. Nature sensed balance in their steps upon soil, rivers, and seas. Zeus lowered his gaze, his voice calm, rolling like thunder softened by rain, carrying weight without force. Mortals teach us still, he said, not through power, but through resilience, through their quiet acts of care. The Watchers bowed, each humbled, reminded that guidance is not command, but shared journey with those they serve. The Watcher of Wisdom vowed to whisper insight, helping mortals uncover truth already within their grasp. The Watcher of Justice pledged to steady scales, ensuring fairness shines even in the smallest of disputes. The Watcher of Music promised to lift weary hearts, weaving melody where silence pressed too heavy. The Watcher of Love glowed brighter, vowing to heal loneliness, weaving threads between hearts near and far. The Watcher of Nature swore to guard cycles, reminding mortals that harmony with earth is harmony with life. Zeus raised his hand, not to command, but to affirm, his presence steady as mountain and kind as dawn. Let us not lead from above alone, he said, but walk beside, listening as much as guiding. The Watcher's lights flared, merging into one luminous circle, brighter than stars, yet soft as morning light. Mortals stirred in their dreams that night, sensing peace, their hearts lighter, as though embraced by unseen care. Children dreamed of laughter, elders dreamed of rest, sailors dreamed of calm seas, lovers dreamed of long days. The night passed gently, carrying with it harmony that settled across mountains, forests, and seas alike. And when dawn came, Olympus stood brighter, not by command, but by unity, born of shared purpose and hope. For the Watchers had remembered, and Zeus had affirmed, that even gods learn when they walk beside mortals. The sun rose golden over Olympus, casting warmth across marble halls and the peaks that pierced the morning sky. The Watchers gathered once more, their forms radiant, each carrying silence heavy with meaning not yet spoken. The Watcher of Wisdom opened its eyes wide, silver light shimmering, as if truth stirred at the edge of dawn. Mortals stand at a crossroad, it said, where knowledge guides them forward, or fear turns them from the path. The Watcher of Justice lifted its scales, golden plates shifting, sensing weight pressing unevenly across mortal lives. Fairness must prevail, it said, for without balance, hope falters, and discord hides within even kind intentions. The Watcher of Music raised its face, hearing whispers of song carried on winds that touched mortal villages below. There is a melody broken, it said, voices out of tune, yet longing to find harmony in one chorus. The Watcher of Love spread radiant arms, warmth glowing brighter, sensing hearts divided by pride, yet yearning still. They long for unity, it said, but pride holds them apart when love asks only for openness and care. The Watcher of Nature pressed its hands to the ground, feeling tremors, waters rising, and winds carrying sharp questions. The earth grows restless, it said, not in anger, but in reminder that mortals must walk gently on her skin. Zeus stood at the circle's center, eyes calm, listening to the Watchers as dawn's light crowned his form. He knew their vision spoke of choice, not fate, for mortals held power to shape their world through will. The sky flickered, showing visions of mortal lands, each filled with both challenge and promise, waiting to unfold. A village quarreled over water, voices raised, yet beneath anger lay fear of thirst and longing for fairness. A poet stood alone, words unwritten, heart aching to capture truth, yet afraid his voice would not be heard. A mother cradled her child, whispering lullabies, her strength shining brighter than worry that shadowed her heart. A group of strangers shared bread in silence, their differences fading as kindness filled the space between them. The Watchers trembled at these visions, sensing how fragile yet resilient mortal lives wove into greater patterns. Wisdom saw hunger for truth. Justice saw cries for fairness. Music heard silence aching to become harmony. Love felt yearning for connection. Nature saw imbalance, begging to be healed before growth could flourish again. Zeus lifted his voice, rolling like soft thunder, his words steady as rain that nourishes and never destroys. Mortals remind us, he said, that even in fear, they seek courage. Even in division, they seek union. The Watchers bowed their heads, humbled, remembering their task was not command, but to light paths of care. The Watcher of Wisdom promised guidance in learning, so mortals might find truth without losing their wonder. The Watcher of Justice pledged fairness, steadying disputes so they might end not in bitterness but in peace. The Watcher of Music promised songs of comfort, melodies weaving courage where silence left hearts afraid. The Watcher of Love glowed brighter, vowing to bridge divides, healing wounds with compassion deeper than pride. The Watcher of Nature promised renewal, guiding mortals toward balance, so earth might sing in harmony again. Zeus raised his hand, not to command, but to affirm, his gaze kind as morning breaking through cloud. Mortals and gods walk together, he said, not above, not below, but side by side as kin of creation. The Watchers' lights grew stronger, their forms shimmering, as if the stars themselves bent close to listen. Mortals below stirred with calm that day, disputes softening, songs rising, hearts daring to believe in unity. Children laughed louder, farmers planted with care, sailors raised sails with hope, lovers clasped hands with faith. The day unfolded gently, carrying harmony across lands, binding Olympus and mortals with threads unseen yet strong. And when night returned, the Watchers stood firm, their vow unbroken, their light steady, guiding by presence alone. For gods and mortals alike had remembered, Harmony is not given, it is chosen, nurtured, and forever renewed. The moon rose high over Olympus, silver light spilling across marble steps and the quiet halls of the gods. The watchers gathered beneath its glow, their forms shimmering, each carrying wisdom forged in silence and patience. The Watcher of Wisdom spoke first, its silver gaze calm, sensing that their long journey neared a gentle conclusion. All paths converge, it said softly, knowledge guiding not only mortals, but us, toward deeper understanding of being. The Watcher of Justice lifted its scales, golden light steady, as though balance itself had finally found its center. Fairness has been tested, it said, and though imperfect, mortals strive still, and that striving itself is justice. The Watcher of Music hummed low, tones weaving through the night, carrying melodies of countless mortal songs upward. I hear harmony rising, it whispered, voices once alone now, blending, imperfect yet true, fragile yet beautiful. The Watcher of Love spread radiant hands, warmth embracing all, sensing hearts below, beating in rhythm with hope. Love endures, it said, not because it is easy, but because mortals choose it again and again each day. The Watcher of Nature pressed its hand to the earth, feeling stillness in soil, rivers flowing calm, forests breathing peace. The world breathes with them, it said, and though it bears scars, it heals where hands and hearts show care. Zeus stood quietly at the circle's center, his presence vast yet humble, his eyes reflecting moonlight and time. He had listened to each word, each vow, and now spoke with voice steady as rivers that carve valleys. Mortals are not perfect, he said, but neither are we. Perfection was never the goal, only growth and grace. The watchers bowed their heads, their lights glowing softer, as if humbled by the truth carried in his voice. For they had seen mortals stumble, falter, quarrel, yet still rise again with courage, kindness, and hope renewed. Visions shimmered across the sky, showing children laughing, neighbors helping, strangers offering hands without condition. A teacher shared wisdom with patience, a healer tended wounds, a farmer planted seeds with faith in tomorrow. The watchers trembled at these simple acts, realizing they were as divine as any miracle woven in Olympus. Wisdom saw truth in their learning. Justice saw fairness in their choices. Music heard harmony in their togetherness. Love felt compassion in their embrace. Nature sensed balance in their steps upon the living earth. Zeus lifted his hands, not in command, but in blessing, his presence kind as dawn upon quiet hills. Let Olympus not stand above mortals alone, he said, but beside them, learning, guiding, and growing together. The watchers raised their lights high, weaving them into one circle, brighter than stars, softer than moonlight. Mortals below felt peace descend, not knowing why, as though the air itself whispered comfort into their hearts. That night, dreams carried them gently, dreams of harmony, of laughter, of rivers flowing clear and endless. When dawn came, Olympus gleamed not with power, but with unity, its halls alive with purpose shared by all. The watchers stood firm in their vow, guardians not of command, but of companionship, patience, and guiding care. Zeus watched the rising sun, his heart steady, knowing the journey of gods and mortals was one story. And so it was told that harmony is not a gift bestowed, but a choice lived, again and again. The Watchers of Olympus shone brighter than dawn, not as rulers, but as companions, eternal and steadfast. And beneath them, mortals walked their paths with courage, weaving a world where gods and humans shared the light.